welcome back to another video in this new video series, what's new in the SQL library for Allen Bradley PLCs. In this one we are going to be talking about the SQL-Insert, what's has been added, some of the capabilities, some of the features, and we're going to demonstrate how all that works. So with no further delays, let's start. So what I have in here is I've got the SQL insert from the L version. Now the first thing I would like to touch on is customizing your add-on instruction to suit your needs. So right now we have, if we go to our user-defined and we go to the insert setup, right now we have the column names is 1000 and the value is 1000. It's like we want to basically interact with a table that has up to 1000 columns. But if your table is smaller than that, you can certainly change that. So you would go offline, you would change this to something like 50 or 10 or 100, whatever the number is that suits your needs, and then you download, and then the add instruction will dynamically adjust to that and work properly with no further settings. So right now we have up to 1000, and we are going to see how that works. So what I'm going to do here is, so I have in the settings, I have this database that I have here, and I have this table, which is this table here. So this table has up to 110 columns. Right now there is nothing in the table. It's empty, and it's table number 2, as we can see in here. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try just to log to the first 50 columns. I'm going to try to log some values, some date and time, and so forth. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to click OK here, and all I have to do, and here I specified to stop at when I get like 50 records. And the other thing I'm doing here, which is also configurable, I'm going to be logging one record every second. But you can certainly speed that up if you want to, and we can see that here in a moment. So if I go and trigger this, it's gonna start doing its own thing, and you can see here we already have 1 records. And if I update the database here, we can see we already have 3, which what we have here is 3 and 4. And if I update here, and I have 5, and it's just gonna go keep doing that until it hits 50, and it's going to stop because this counter is going to basically say I'm done, and it's going to open this to stop basically the SQL-Insert from doing that. So as we can see here, this is incrementing, and just to show you that this is live, I'm going to go to column 5 and change the value, and we're going to see that changing live as we are doing that. So column 5 is 4 here. I'm just going to say hello world, and hits apply. And as soon as I did that, and I go here to execute, you're going to see now that this column now is going to start to show hello world, as you can see in here. Execute again, and here it is, hello world, as we can see it here. And right now we're logging to up to 50 columns, as we saw in the configuration. And what that does is, if we look here as our table, all the other values is just going to be null. But keep in mind, this was tolerated because this column can accept null. If these columns does not accept null, then you will have a problem. You will have an SQL error, and you will be logged in here, and it will tell you, hey, this, let's say column 53 does not accept null, so you'll have to give it some value to be able to send that query. Okay, so now as we're doing this, we are going to increase our column number to see if we can log actually to 110 altogether. So I'm going to hit apply. So as I did that, and we are going here and still basically logging, and I'm going to execute again, and you will see now that we are logging to, we just actually started right there, to the entire table. So let's execute again and see what we've got. So if we go now, we got like 46, and we're going to see here that we have also logged to the entire table here on these ones. So now we got 50, we stopped, we execute, we got 50 records right there, one every second, and we change like the amount of columns on the fly, and also the right there. So these are the ones that we logged since we changed it. I think it was like 43 or 44. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there we go. So you got 6 transactions since we changed that. Now, okay, that's cool. So what about if we want to speed up that process and see how many we can log, or can we log faster than 1 second? So I am going to basically go here, and I'm going to change this to 0. So when you do that, you basically tell in the add-on instruction, log as fast as you can, or as fast as your scan time, basically, for the PLC. So now you see how long it took to log this. It's basically 50 seconds. And now we're going to see how long it's going to take to log this 50 when we did that. So I'm going to put that. So you see that it went really fast. Boom, it's already 50. So now if I say execute, I certainly have 100 right there. And if I go here, you can see 100 logged to the entire table, 110 columns. So basically we were logging 100 tags like faster than a second, and you saw how fast that went for 50 logs. 50 records was really fast. So now what we're going to do, we're going to try to push this to its limit to see how far we can go with this. So I have here another table. This one has, I believe, 800 columns. Yeah, 800 columns. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to basically clear all the records I have here. I'm going to delete all the stuff I have here. So to do so, I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to run this delete query. And since I want to delete all the records, I don't care about the where anymore. And I'm going to say execute, and it's 6031 records are gone. And I'm going to basically, not this one, sorry, this one, table 3. And I'm going to say execute. So right now we have no records, it's 0. So the other setting as I need to do here is I need to go to my SQL config, and this time I'm going to say I want table 3 instead of table 2. And I am going to, we already know that we can do 110. So I'm going to say I want to do 200 columns. And I'm going to put this back to 1 second. Okay. So that's all set, all good to go. And now I'm going to reset. So then now that we reset, we're going to start to see, there we go, a record every second. Okay, execute, and we can see here that we have a record up to 200 right there, 200. Okay, 200. And if I go here and change the value just to show you that we're live, if we go to 199, which is correspond to my 200 column, 199 right there, and I'm changing this to hello world 200 points test, or let's say data point test. Okay, I'm gonna hit OK. As soon as I do that, I say execute. Well, obviously we have, you can see even the SQL is kind of taking a little longer to query all that. So let's look at our column here, 200, and see if that value changed. Okay, so we are looking at our value here for column 200. I'm going to execute again. And, oh, just went too fast. And you can certainly see it right there that we have that being changed. And so we're going right now 1 every second. We're logging 200 basically tags every second. And what we're going to do next is like I said, we're going to try to push the limit of what the SQL-Insert can do for us. Because that was one of the big enhancements, is now we can actually log way more, especially with version L, way more than the previous generation of the SQL library. So as we can see here, we've got 25, 26. If we go here to see how many rows we have 26, certainly, and now we already sent 27, so it's actually take more time to query by the time the PLC already sent the query. So there we go, 28, 28, and now we are 29. So we're gonna give it a few seconds here to complete, and then we are gonna try to go as fast as we can to see if the PLC will be able to handle it. And just notice here that I'm using the 53, or actually the 5480 PLC in this demonstration. Like I said, to use version L, you have to use the 5380 or the 5480 series of PLCs, as the 5370 or the version L is not compatible with 5370 compact logics PLCs, which what you can find in the user guide of the SQL library. So yeah, so we got 41. We can again confirm how many we have here. Got 42, 42. So far so good. And yeah, we got 42, and we have up to 200 right there. So now I am going to, in this last few transactions, I'm going to say if I can go to 300 and hit apply. Okay, so we should have at least 2 or 3 transactions that will go to 300. So let's see what happens, because it did not complain, it did not say capacity exceeded. So I expect that I will see some values past the 200 columns somewhere in here. There we go. Here is our one record all the way to all the way to 300. So now we know that we can log up to 300 so far, and one every second. It's not a problem at all. And again, let's see, those transactions should have at least 2 or 3 for the 300, and like here's 50, and sure enough, here are the 2 transactions, actually 3 transactions for the up to 300. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how fast we can go with the 300. So if I go here and say, okay, let's put this to 0, and let's see how fast we can go. And I'm going to put this to 0, and you can see it's super fast even with 300. And if we go execute, we got 100 records in there, and sure enough, the last 50 are all past the 300 as we can see here. Right there, they're all distributed. There we go, all over the place. And it went really, really fast. So, okay, so we're gonna keep going with this exercise. We're gonna push it further. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna be a bit more courageous, and we're gonna push it to, can we do like 800? And we're gonna hit apply, and we're gonna see how fast we can go. Okay, so we're gonna say put this to 0, and as soon as we did that, now it says capacity exceeded. So obviously with this configuration we have right now, we can't do up to 800. Okay, so but since with 800 we basically, it's basically the entire table, because this is an 800 table. Okay, so if that's the case, and you know, the way that insert query works also is if you are logged into the entire table, you don't necessarily have to specify the columns. So because of that, and to accommodate that, that was one of the enhancements that has been done to the SQL-Insert. And when we do that, we're going to have more room in our basically packet that we can send more data, because we're gonna don't need to send all the column names. So to tell that to the add instruction, what you have to do is you simply have to not specify the first column, just leave it empty. And when you do that, basically you tell the add instruction, I want to log to this entire table, and this table is an 800 you know, column, so that's what I want to do. So now as soon as we did that, and we click OK here, and we're going to reset this capacity exceeded, so I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on, and you see now it's working and it's really fast. So it did 50, 800, very, very fast. And if we look here, execute, we're going to find 150, and we're going to find 51, and we're going to find that we have logged all the way, there we go, to 800. 800. There's all the tags that's logged to 800. Now, to have a little bit of fun, we're going to go back to this table, and we are going to delete all the records again. Just clear that up. Oops. Okay, so we deleted all that. Go to our table, execute. So we got okay, oh sorry, I was in the wrong table. So that's table 3, and this is table 2. Okay, I want to go to table 3, so I'm just going to go here, and there we go. So we have no records right now, and I'm going to repeat this again. So let's reset. See how fast we're doing. 50, done. Execute, and boom, here's your 50 rows, and here is your 800 basically tags logged super fast. Now obviously, you know, in a real scenario, you probably don't want to go that fast, you know, unless your, I guess, network can handle it and you have enough bandwidth and all that. But by any means, you can certainly do it, and the PLC supports it, and the add instruction supports it, and no problem, as you saw in this demonstration. Now, one thing to keep in mind is to do basically this and go to up to 800, you have to make sure that in the login in the login here that you have enabled the large packet. You have to make sure this is enabled. If we don't have this enabled, it won't work. It's going to give us a COM error because it can't handle that packet with the normal packets. So that's very, very important when you're doing that. And of course, if you want to go slower, as we saw, you can just go here and say, I want to log maybe every 3 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. Obviously, that's not a problem. Now, can we go beyond 800? For this particular configuration and for the amount what I have in here, we can't. In fact, this is basically the maximum of this table that we have in here, and from the testing, that's probably the maximum you can reach with version, even with version L. Now with version S, you probably can go to like up to 200 tags in one shot, obviously. And you know, if there is a need, let's say that you want to log more than 800 tags, and why not? Obviously, you can split, you know, your tables and have maybe you know, a table of 500 tags, you know, maybe 3 or 4 tables, and you can have 3 or 4 of these working simultaneously if you want, or sequentially, however you want to set it up. All that is certainly possible. So on top of that, we have also, like we mentioned, this affected rows as well. So it shows you how many rows has been affected. As we were logging, obviously you have 1 row affected, and you've got the capacity exceeded also has been added to let you know your limitation in there. And of course, we also have the SQL error that has been incorporated in all the add-on instructions, that if there is an SQL error, you will know what it is. Explicitly will be showing you in here, as I was demonstrating in other videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this was informative. And again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.